All right. Hey. Whew. Let's see, rolling. All right. And what is up? How goes it? Give myself the exaggerated swagger black haircut that every black person has in a video game. Actually, I did have that. I did have that haircut like unironically in like my freshman year of college. Oh, happy days. um, Yo, what's up, guys? What's up, Tristan? Magneto, gritty reboot, the sad Jewish chronic. Isn't that just Mouse with extra steps? I'd read it. I'd watch it. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, guys. Just well, I actually just finished reading Batman Dark Age #2, and I mean, this book is cool. I don't know how long it's gonna go, but I don't know. I feel like Mike Allred's and Mark Russell said everything they had to say with Batman and Superman Space Age, so this sort of just feels like extra Superman Space Age without Superman in it. I don't know. I'm mostly getting it for Mike Allred's art because I love Mike Allred. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool so far. I mean, there's cool ideas in it. I really like the sort of deco punk bat suit that Bruce Wayne wears in this universe. It's pretty cool. I really like the. 1 second. There's like a really cool Batmobile design in here that like I just fuck with so heavy. Where is it? It's like near the end of the book actually, but this one. It's like a callback to the Dick Sprang Batmobile. I'm not sure if you can see it, but yeah, it's cool. I dig it. I don't know. It's more Superman Space Age, which I like a lot of the ideas in, but I'm not sure if I actually like it. It's weird. It's that's a book I have a weird relationship with. I feel like it ultimately sort of just it's fun, but Superman doesn't really feel like a it suffers from like the Superman problem that I think a lot of things suffer, where Clark Kent is sort of just there and he's a good guy and there's like nothing beyond him being a good guy. That is it. Which isn't like terrible. That's just how that character is approached by a lot of people, but it's sort of weird. I felt like a lot of the characters around Superman were more interesting than Superman in Space Age, and we're getting this, which is sort of, I don't know, I guess making that point unironically, but I also feel like Bruce Wayne has the same problem in this that Clark Kent had in Superman Space Age, where he's just sort of there and he's just sort of moving through the narrative, and all the other characters around him are a little more interesting than him. I don't know, they might do a Green Arrow Space Age. Never. They never do that, but a guy can dream. But I don't know, the books are still fun, and I like that Mark Russell's doing stuff with the DC universe. I think he's doing a lot of fun stuff. I might talk about that book at some point in the future. I like it, but I do have like problems with it. Superman Space Age Batman equals literally killed in a gunfire in a hostage situation gone wrong. Well, that's why I like it. I thought it was kind of it was like unflatteringly just kind of, I don't know, it was real. It was just some real shit. Batman doesn't go out in a blaze of glory, he just fucking dies. I don't know, I thought that was funny. And I kind of appreciated that, because you'd never see that in like a mainstay DC comic. Have you heard the news about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers coming to an end? I did. I know Ziggy Gamma's gonna be real pissed about that, because I know he was following Power Rangers for a while. I'm not the world's biggest Power Rangers guy. Like, the closest I've ever gotten to being a Power Rangers fan is watching Neon Genesis Evangelion. So, I don't know. I don't really count in that regard. I did like the Power Rangers movie from like 2017. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's like that in Evangelion. It's the closest I've ever gotten to loving Power Rangers. I don't know. It sucks that it's all coming to an end, because I know that book was really hype for a lot of people when it first came out, like a couple years ago. Like Shattered Grid and all that. Yeah, people loved it. I might go back and read it now that it's all over. But yeah, I'll ask Ziggy Gamma how he's feeling about it. Superheroes aging in real time. Need more time to regress. Well, that's what a lot of like UK comics do. Especially a lot of the Vertigo stuff. Like, you see John Constantine age in real time. You see, like, I think Lucifer takes place in real time. I don't know about Sandman, because I didn't read beyond the first volume. Didn't really catch me. But I think some of Swamp Thing happens in real time. But, like, the DC Universe also... It's weird, because Swamp Thing, unlike Constantine, does straight up just exist in the DC Universe. Like, from 1986... 89 through like 2011, right? John Constantine ages like 30 years. But when you read like mainstay DC Comics, Tim Drake, introduced in 1989, is like 15. That nigga doesn't become 18 till like 2006. So that means everything between 1989 and 2006, it's like 3 years. Only 3 years pass in the DC Universe between 1989 and 2006. Oh, man. Shit. I'm trying to think, like... That means Amazon's attack. There was, like, 3 crises. Well, I guess, like, there's 0 Hour, there's Final Night, which is kind of a crisis, and then there's Infinite Crisis. 3 world-ending events, just as events, happen. 3 years. Lex Luthor became president. Tore the superhero community apart. I guess that happened for like a couple of months. Dude, how do people live in the DC Universe? Like, holy fuck. You'd go insane. Oh, Derpy Entertainment? I don't know, but are you doing a bit? Because you're derpy, so you're saying, I don't know. But I guess, what's up? Tristan says, I wonder if the comics is gonna go to a new number 1, or if it's gonna go to a 0 era. Oh, for Power Rangers? That's hard to say. I haven't looked into it that deeply, but it could just be a situation where Boom Studios lost the license, and it's gonna lapse to, I don't know, maybe like Dark Horse, because everything goes to Dark Horse eventually. And even when Dark Horse loses a license, they get it right the fuck back. So I don't know. We could be getting Dark Horse Power Rangers. That'd be interesting. Um, Probably be more in line with like the 2017 reboot if that was the case. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Saban could also just start his own publishing initiative too and make Power Rangers comics himself. I don't know. But yeah, that's I'll have to ask Ziggy Gamma about that. Um, uh, Comic accurate live action superhero adaptations, low budget Power Rangers style series. That would go hard for a couple characters. I say with like mild confidence until I realized that the CW eventually just sort of became that. So I actually don't want that. That's how you get everything after Flash season 2. So no, I'm good actually. I don't know, I think you could probably do like a fun. You know what you could do? You could do a really cool like Golden Age superhero show, but sort of treat it like the HBO Max Watchmen series. And I only say that because that's literally, I'm just thinking of this. Just do this. Do this as like an HBO show or a movie. James Gunn, please, here, just do JSA the Golden Age, please, for the love of God. Dude, this went so hard. I'm spoilers. I'm making a video on this right now. Fuck, this was so good. I'm like so frustrated that I'd never heard about this book until now. This made me I mean, first of all, this made me a fucking Alan Scott fan. This book is like if you want to pill someone on Alan Scott Green Lantern, and someone's like, I don't care about Alan Scott, I don't care about that Green Lantern, I care about the pew 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 Space Boys. I care about Space Boys, Green Lanterns. Just get them to read this. Cause this shit is fire. Like Alan Scott's basically the Superman archetype of like the Golden Age era superhero community. Like he is the big dog. I don't know. It was just so cool. I don't know what to say. I liked it a lot. It also made me like keenly aware that there are not a lot of superpowered Golden Age DC heroes. Like most of them are just dudes. Like most of them are just people. Like Liberty Bell doesn't have powers. Starman doesn't have powers. Mr. Terrific, like the original Mr. Terrific, doesn't have powers. Wildcat, no powers. Tarantula, no powers. In fact, who's on this? Who's on this? The cover. You got Tigra, no powers. The Americommando and Miss America technically does have powers, but that version of the character doesn't show up in this book at all. They play it like she's just, I'm good at kung fu and punching. I guess Carter Hall technically has powers, but like, I mean, they're kind of ambiguous with it. Like, I'm not sure if he just has the harness, like the flight harness, and that like makes him fly, or if he's like actually like super powered with like Thanagarian like blood juice or whatever. But dude, no, this is, I don't know. Also Sandman, no powers. Fuck, this would just go so hard as a movie or a show, and you don't need a massive budget to do it. You just, I don't know, offered Zack Snyder like a couple shekels, and and like a hat that says "World's Greatest Director," and he'll probably do this for free. Uh, like, I don't know, or like get the dude who did Damon Lindelof, who did Watchmen on HBO. Get him to do this. It'll be so easy, and it's right there. It's right there. It's so good. Although it would be kind of hard to like adapt it because it is written very much with like the comics medium in mind. So I don't know. It'd be weird adapting it to screen, but I'd be down. If you can make Watchmen work, you can make this work. Definitely. What's up, Tevya? I'm planning on reading all the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Deluxe Edition hardcovers. I mean, get them now, because they're gonna sell out. Comic book time. It's only been like 10 to 15 years, bruh. That's a lot happened in 10 to 15 years. I can tell you that. Like I don't like. It's especially egregious when you have like editorial mandates that say certain characters are like only like a specific age. Like I know like the marching order at Marvel Comics is that Cyclops and Peter Parker are only 28 years old. Which kind of doesn't make sense because when Spider-Man was introduced, he was older than the X-Men. So why would Peter and Cyclops be the same age? That doesn't quite make sense. But whatever. Anyways, that aside, that's a rough fucking 28, man. Like, I mean, I'm not that well versed in the X-Men, but let's see. Dark Phoenix, you've had 2 wives. You've cheated on them both with like various women. You have 3 children across time and space. You found out that you have a long lost brother, and your long lost father is actually MCU Star-Lord, and he has like a furry wife in space. He also died, came back to life. Killed your mentor, your like surrogate father. You became like mutant Che Guevara for a couple years. Let's see, what else? Like Mutant Massacre happened. Then all the stuff with like Morrison and like the death of Genosha. Yeah, I know guys who are like in their late 20s who are balding because of stress. Scott Summers is like literally built different because he looks like he's a college student. That man's got those strong mutant space furry genes. Cause holy fuck. 28. Okay, suck my dick. But yeah, and then Peter Parker's even worse. Cause like everything from like the 70s through like the 90s, your girlfriend dies, comes back as a clone. You get buried alive just after you come back from your honeymoon, which by the way, you were like hunted for sport on your honeymoon. Your wife's dad went to prison just before you got married. Clones. Also, your parents were like robot clones for a little bit. Aunt May died, but not really. And we're just at 1994. We haven't even gotten to the juicy shit yet with like Ezekiel and all the esoteric spider totem shit. Peter Parker, 28 years old, still looks like he did in 1978. Fuck off. No. I'd be dripping with stress. I would be nothing but adrenaline at that point. My fight or flight would just be always constantly going. 28. Holy fuck. That's a very lived life right there. Gentai says, you stated you don't particularly care for Kingdom Come. You're damn right. In that case, do you like Infinite Crisis by Jeff Johns more? Yes, I do. Yes. Like, no question mark. I do. I do like Infinite Crisis, like a lot more than Kingdom Come. Even though I feel like Jeff Johns sort of comes from a similar mentality that like superheroes begin and end with like the Silver and Bronze Age. I really do feel like Jeff Johns has that mentality. Even with that, he's a lot like Grant Morrison in the way that I think, while having a bias for the Silver and Bronze Age, they are able to allow these characters to like get with the times. Some of them. Like when he brought back Hal Jordan, he like made him feel like a modern character. When he brought back Barry Allen, he definitely made Barry Allen feel like a modern character. Like post Flash Rebirth Barry Allen is almost like not even the same character as Silver Age Barry Allen. Like they are kind of completely different characters. But that's just because Jeff Johns was able to, bring back the stuff that he likes, but also modernize the character a little bit to where he doesn't feel like a Captain America allegory. Which I feel guys like Mark Waid and Kurt Busiek sort of struggle with a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, no, I definitely like Infinite Crisis a lot more. One of the big things that I really like about it is that superheroes are a reaction to like the real world. So like addressing that on like a character level as opposed to like an iconography level. Like that's where the disconnect for me comes with like Mark Waid and Kingdom Come. Jeff Johns is like, these characters got a little like darker and grittier with the times, but like, what's that line that he says to Earth 2 Superman when like Earth 2 Superman's freaking out? He's like, "You are dark and gritty. I hate you because you're not real Superman. You died and people lost hope and Superman's all about hope." And then main universe Clark is like, "Your world couldn't have been perfect either because a perfect world doesn't need Superman." Right on the money. Right on the motherfucking money. Yes, that. That's what I'm fucking talking about. That's what I'm fucking talking about! Jeff Johns used to be a great writer. I don't know what the fuck happened. But before the dark times, before Doomsday Clock and Three Jokers, Jeff Johns was one of the greatest comic writers in the industry. Early Golden Age superheroes, badass normals. You're fucking goddamn right they were. Speaking of Watchmen, how do you feel about Watchmen getting an animated movie this year? God. Doesn't need to happen. Does not need to happen. I think we were good with the Zack Snyder movie, and I think we were even better with the Damon Lindelof TV show. We don't need any more Watchmen. We're good. We're good. Why are we doing this? For what reason are we doing this? Like literally, there were like so many other Watchmen clones that DC could choose to adapt. They could do the Authority because they have the rights to the Authority. They could do JSA the Golden Age because these are literally DC characters. They could do something with like all the characters that the Minutemen are like based off of. There's no reason you can't make a Charleston Watchmen. Like literally just do a Watchmen-esque story with the Charlton characters like Blue Beetle, The Question, Captain Atom, Nightshade. I don't know who the Ozymandias character would be, but Peacemaker. Now that people give a shit about Peacemaker, like you could sell it on Peacemaker. It's right there. It's right there. But okay. And it also doesn't help that DC Animation's just gone down the fuck hill. Oh man, that's gonna happen. Oh, that's bad. But yeah, that's what I feel about Watchmen getting an animated show or animated movie. Much rather, it doesn't need to happen, but it's gonna happen, and we'll see how it turns out. Actually, fucking hold on a second. Let me just say this real quick. For years, and I'm probably gonna make a video about this at some point, but like, I remember everybody parroting the same phrase for like the entire time I've been around comics. DC's good at animation, Marvel's good at live action. I don't know, man. I'm sitting here fresh off of episode 7 of X-Men 97, and I haven't watched the Crisis on Infinite Earths movies, or at the very least haven't seen the second one yet, but I watched the first one, and I watched a lot of those Tomorrowverse movies, and I watched a lot of those like DC animated movie universe things. You're gonna fucking sit here and tell me that DC's good at animation? Okay. You're gonna sit here and tell me that Marvel's not good at animation? Which, by the way, people have been saying that for years. I don't know why, or at the very least, I didn't know why. I mean, now I'm going back and rewatching the X-Men animated series because, you know, when I have my days off and I'm watching my niece, you know, it's just fun to have on in the background. It's like child friendly, it's inoffensive, which is hilarious because it's X-Men. But that show was awful. That show is really bad. The 90s Spider-Man cartoon, I have a lot of nostalgia for it, but I cannot sit here and tell you that it is good. I haven't had the heart to go back and watch the Iron Man show, because that was like one of my favorite cartoons as a kid, and I don't want to have it stained for me, but I don't know if it's actually good or not. I know that Avengers cartoon from the 90s is trash. It's like United We Stand or whatever the fuck. It's United We Fall, Divided We Stand, something. It's trash. Trash. I watched that in high school, and I was like, this is some booty juice. So yeah, a lot of the 90s animated Marvel shows aren't good. And I know a lot of people try to like use the censorship thing as like an excuse, but you know who else had the same censorship regulations? The DC animated universe. And I don't love the DCAU. Like, I know a lot of that's heresy for people. I get it. DCAU is the king and this is the greatest adaptation of DC universe ever, blah blah blah. I disagree. I think Batman the Animated Series is really good with season 1, and the Batman and Robin show was really good. And then there's just more of it. Batman Beyond is really good though. I genuinely do like Batman Beyond. In that context of the DCAU. Just within that context. I don't want to see Batman Beyond outside of that context ever in my life. And now that I've said that, it's probably going to happen. So, you're welcome, universe. But, yeah. Like, I don't love Superman the Animated Series. Like, I don't hate it like some Superman fans do. But, like, it's fine. It's alright. But, holy fuck, compared to, like X-Men the Animated Series or fucking, like, Spider-Man the Animated Series, that shit is so much better. So much better. So much better. And it's not even a competition. It's literally the hydrogen bomb versus a coughing baby meme. It's so glaring, the difference in quality of the DC Animated Universe cartoons and the Marvel cartoons of the 90s. And I think that's where people like to say that like Marvel animation is bad. I think that's where that comes from. But then you get to like the 2000s into like the 2010s, and that argument starts to fall apart, because 2002 or 2003 or whatever, that's when we get X-Men Evolution. It's really fucking good. And then we get Fantastic Four: World's Greatest Heroes. Not even probably, without a doubt, definitively, thus far, the best adaptation of the Fantastic Four. Then there's also Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Probably one of the best animated superhero cartoons ever. There's also Spectacular Spider-Man. Just Spectacular Spider-Man. Yeah, man. Marvel's good at live action, and DC's good at animation. Marvel sucks at animation. DC's good at live action. What the fuck are you talking about? There's like a solid 10-year streak where Marvel's just the banger after banger for animation. Literally, what are you talking about? I don't get it. But it's just funny because I always hear people shit on Marvel animation up until recently with like X-Men 97, and they're like, Marvel finally got good at animation, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Everything from like 2002 up through like 2012 or 13 or whatever, Jeff Loeb canceled all the good animated shows and replaced them with MCU replacements. Like everything up to that point is really good. So I don't know. I never got that argument. Also saying that like all of the DC live action stuff is bad is weird. Like, okay, like Watchmen's really good. The Constantine NBC show was really good until it got canceled. Sandman is really fucking good. It made me want to go back and read the comic that I never could get through. Like, I don't know, like, and then like the Shazam movies are fun. I mean, they're not really Shazam, but like, you know, whatever. It's like New 52-ish Shazam, kind of. But they're still fun movies. I don't know. People try to like make reductionist arguments, and like they always just look stupid when they do because they're wrong. But I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I say all that to say that Marvel animation is really good, and DC animation should be better. Did I read Ultimate Spider-Man this week? I did see a review for it. I like this, man. This is I actually got it down here. I picked up this cover at the dinner scene. This is fire. This is absolute fire. Spider-Man doesn't fucking show up in this book, and it's still the best Spider-Man book on the shelves right now. Hickman is just firing on all cylinders, and it's not fair. Quite frankly, it's just not fair. But yeah, no, this was really cute. It's really fun to see like adult Gwen Stacy married to adult not Flash Thompson, married to adult Harry Osborn. I think that's really fun. It's really cute. It's kind of fun seeing that like adult Gwen is like still kind of a bitch. That's like a character trait that I think people forget about 616 Gwen Stacy. Which in this case, this is a world where, this is basically the 616 universe if it was allowed to keep, well, not allowed to keep going, but like this is, sorry, I mixed up the Flashpoint universe and the 616 universe, and my sentence got fucked up. But this is basically the Marvel 616 universe if key changes were made to the timeline, and one of those changes is that we get to see Gwen Stacy grow up. It's essentially like the Flashpoint universe if the Flashpoint universe got to keep going. That's what I was trying to say. I stroked out for a second there, but yeah, man, no, this is just so good. I love the dynamic between Peter, Harry, MJ, and Gwen. You definitely see the class divide there. Like, Harry and Gwen are like very. They're like you hear the theme song to Succession whenever they're talking, and whenever Peter and MJ open their mouths, it's just the Hey Arnold theme song. Like, these are the poor kids from Queens, and these are the Rothschilds. Yeah, dude, this was really good, man. There's a guest artist for this. It's not Marco Cicchetto. It's an artist who is significantly hornier, I swear to God, because some of these pages with MJ are just... Bro. You drew this with one hand, I can tell. Like, I was reading this on the train going like, holy fuck, this is horny as fuck. But no, this is so good. Also, something that I really liked, and it's like one of those minor comic like appreciation things, but you notice that almost all of the pages that focus on Peter, MJ, Gwen, and Harry sitting down for dinner, they're all done in like a 9-panel grid, which is very evocative of a lot of the early Steve Ditko paneling. And I'm pretty, I meant to say 9-panel grid. I think I said 6-panel grid, but the 9-panel grid. But that, I forget, it might have been Alan Moore. I think Alan Moore once said that one of the defining attributes of Ditko's paneling on Amazing Spider-Man was how claustrophobic and sort of like blocky everything was. That like sort of added to like the tension of like everyone's sort of emotions. Like, everyone feels boxed in, everyone sort of feels like they can't like breathe, and that's why everyone's an irrational fucking crazy person in that book. And you sort of notice that here. Like, it's a very laid back scene, but everyone's also very sort of tense beneath the surface. So I don't know, that like really stood out to me, and I don't know, man, this is just a really good book. This continues to be the best Spider-Man book on the shelves. I mean, Spider-Man is like really fun and really cute, but this is fucking Spider-Man right here, dog. Like, holy shit. I can't wait to see what this book looks like a year from now. Like, I'm fascinated to know like what we're all thinking about Ultimate Spider-Man by issue 14. But yeah, I loved it. This is the book that I want to like wait to talk about though in a full video. But yeah, I absolutely adore Ultimate Spider-Man right now. It's really good. Yeah, Spider-Man be 20 years old. It doesn't really make sense. Well, I mean, there are people who are 20 years old and not married. That's called being a millennial slash Gen Xer slash future Gen Alpha. That's not that abnormal. Question: any opinion on the latest X-Men '97? It's really good. Uh, it's so funny because like I was never a big fan of the the '90s X-Men cartoon as a kid. Like even as like a small child in the '90s, I was like, this looks like crap. I let me watch Batman. Batman doesn't look like crap. This looks like crap. Yeah, I did not fuck with the X-Men as a kid. And then going back and like rewatching that show, it's not good. But the X-Men '97 show is really good. Like I think I said it before. It's the Voltron thing. I think like one of the creators of Voltron said that like, yeah, don't go back and rewatch the dub of Voltron. Just watch this because this is Voltron as you remember it, not actually as it was. This is an improvement on the old series. That is exactly what X-Men '97 is. This is not that old show that you loved as a kid. This is a dramatic improvement on it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. And I have no opinion about the Fall of X stuff because I don't care. Marvel editorial will be like, Spider-Man's in his teens, 20s, bruh. Nah, that shit don't make no sense. Dude, I want to like get someone to like do a voiceover of like Dan Slott era Spider-Man, and then just interject that with the dude from Smiling Friends at the party who's like, "Oh, you're so fucking old, dude. Like, go back to your wife and kids. Go home. You're fucking ancient." Yeah, that's literally how. No, I mean that man is. He had his 10-year high school reunion in 2003. 2003. Like, you're telling me a year has passed from 2003 to 2024 in Marvel continuity? Okay, sure. What about Dark Knight's Metal? Do you think it's as an event better than Flashpoint? No, because like Flashpoint's like actually kind of fun to read. Dark Knight's Metal was like hard to read. It also just felt like Final Crisis, but like trying too hard to be like, Wayne's World, party on. And I love Scott Snyder, and I love Greg Capullo. The art in that was like definitely the highlight. I could say that. But yeah, no, that book was not good. Jeff Johns, campiness outlook of Silver and Bronze Age fanboy with contemporary edginess of modern ages. Exactly. Which is why it will always be funny to me that when Jeff Johns was brought on board to make the DCEU less dark and gritty, it was like, do you know who this man is? Do you know who Jeff Johns is? Jeff let me inject in the Wally West run on Flash like 2 whole issues of Wally reading a letter about why he thinks murdering villains is actually a good idea. Johns. Jeff, let me let me have Professor Zoom like kill Wally West's kids in the womb. Johns, that Jeff Johns. Um, Jeff, I'm gonna have the first issue of my Teen Titans run have Impulse get shot in the knee by Deathstroke, but not really Deathstroke, but definitely Kid Flash gets shot in the knee. Johns, that guy's gonna make DC movies less dark and gritty. Okay, it's a choice. If that's what you're going for, that's a choice. But all right. Uh, Chontai says, the same as I don't ask questions in talking about Reed's age, Doom's age, Ben Grimm's age, and Sue's age in modern continuity. At least Marvel sort of has the excuse that that Franklin Richards is like keeping everyone young. But even then, how far can you stretch that one? How far can you actually stretch? How far can you stretch that one? I don't know. I'm gonna call some bullshit on that one. I think she's got the world's best force field Botox. How do you feel about? What do you think about? Hey, sorry. Question. Do you think Marvel are just incompetent to let Peter Parker grow the fuck up and move forward? Yeah, but they've had that problem since like the 90s. They've been struggling to square that circle for a long time now. I mean, I've already made a video on that too. I think I like talked about that in my Should Peter Parker Grow Up video. Like, the story of Spider-Man is a coming-of-age tale. The problem with that is that by the time you reach the mid-90s, Peter Parker has come of age. What do you do then? His story's kind of over. I mean, you could have replaced him with a clone. It's just that story was dog shit, and everyone rejected it. So now we've gone back to formula, and we don't know what the fuck to do now. 1610 says Grant Morrison, Jeff Johns, Mark Waid, Kurt Busiek, and Dan DiDio. Silver Age fanboy mafia squad. Yeah. Except Jeff Johns and Grant Morrison can actually accept that the Silver Age came and went and can write modern stories, whereas Mark Waid is like, fuck it, we're going back to like not 2000, we're going back to 1975, baby. And it's good, so I don't know, maybe he's got a point there. But so he says Earth 2 Superman said main universe Superman, you could have stopped this if you did better. Yeah. Boomer Superman. It's so funny, man. Every time, I mean, the DCEU has like come and gone. It's like this is a dead idea, but I always thought it would have been cool or interesting for if you're gonna abandon the Zack Snyder train, to try to move in the direction of making an Infinite Crisis movie, and then you bring back like Brandon Routh or Dean Cain or like one of the past Supermen, and you sort of like have them represent the old guard Superman, and they're just fucking wailing on Henry Cavill Superman. And he's like, it's your fault the world's dark and gritty and you didn't do your job, and I was the perfect Superman because I was perfect and my world was perfect. And then Henry Cavill Superman just sort of like look up and be like, that can't be true because a perfect world doesn't need Superman. Gagged, stunted, absolutely fucking pontificated. I don't know what that word means. I made it up. It's like a mix of pontificate and suffocate. I don't know, but whatever that means. That they done got it. And that would, I don't know. I feel like that would have been like a sort of cool meta commentary on like how people sort of treat like DCEU Superman, and like people were like, he's not real Superman because he's dark and gritty, and it's like, yeah, you guys literally, I don't think you hear yourself. You literally sound like Earth 2 Superman from Infinite Crisis, who is like definitively in the wrong. He's like the bad guy of that story. I don't know. I think that would have been pretty cool, but obviously DC didn't go in that direction. But I don't know. I still think it's a good idea. Jeff Johns is still a good writer. Reed Geiger. My girlfriend got Geiger. She liked it a lot, so I guess I'll check it out at some point. If you want people are gonna grow up, read the MC2 universe stuff again. I have some of it. Marvel just has to finish collecting it because they refuse to finish those collections. I mean, I could pirate it, but like, I spend 8 hours a day at like a computer for my job. I mean, even this is like strenuous on my eyes. But yeah, I don't know. I can't read on a computer screen. That would just fuck with me. It also just feels different. Like reading like this, I think feels different in the brain than like reading like this. But I don't know. Gentai says, I would love a Tom King Strange Adventures adaptation in animated form. It's funny, I met Tom King at like Baltimore Comic-Con just as Strange Adventures was coming out, like years ago, and he was like, he said that like he thought it would be a fun idea for there to be like a DC animated movie, or like not really animated, like a DC hybrid movie, where you have like a live action portion and you have the animated portion, and the Doc Shaner portions would be animated and the live action portions would be the Mitch Drads artwork. So that sounds pretty cool. Would it ever happen? Probably not. Well, I don't know. Because I think that's what Creature Commandos is supposed to be. It's like 1/2 animation, 1/2 live action. And the animation's going to switch between different animation styles. Or not animation styles, art styles. So yeah, I don't know. I'm down for that. That sounds pretty cool. We might get to see Strange Adventures adapted in that direction, potentially. I don't know. Sounds pretty cool. I'd like to see it. I mean, I liked what I read of Strange Adventures. That was another Tom King book that I read, though. It was like, yeah, I don't care about this character, so it's great. But I'm sure if I did, I'd be fucking mad. Just like everything else Tom King writes. Except for Supergirl. I genuinely did like the Supergirl book. And Superman, Up and Away? No, Up in the Sky. Up in the Sky was really good. So those are fun. But outside of that, like the D-list characters, I get why people who like the JLI do not like any of Tom King's direction for those characters. I get it. But I don't give a fuck about them characters, so whatever. I'm just along for the ride. So, that's why I might check out Human Target at some point. Because I don't care about those characters, so I'm down to just see, like, a cool story. Charlton Minutemen, the guys who only last a couple of minutes during sex. as told by the Silk Spectre. Um, Question: do you think Marvel animation is finally back, being good? And do you think with X-Men '97 being a success, they'll bring back Spider-Man '90s? Well, I know they talked to John Sempier. I think that's who the animation director was for the '90s Spider-Man cartoon. Um, I mean, we'll see. After this last episode, I really would like to see that because I think the animation and the art style is just so gorgeous. Like, can you just imagine like Spider-Man swinging around New York City in like an updated like sort of like landscape art style? It just looks so good. I would be so incredibly down. Yeah, the X-Men '97 is like such a beautiful show, man. I'm down to see more Marvel shows from like the '90s sort of come back if they're gonna keep everything at like that level of quality. I would absolutely be down. Avengers United We Stand is so bad. Fucking right on, brother. DC and Marvel Animation Department, inconsistent quality, for mostly mid at best. I don't know. There are some shows that were like legitimately like amazing. Like Spectacular Spider-Man was like legitimately amazing, and then it got cut off at the knees. Like Fantastic Four, Earth's Greatest Heroes, or I guess World's Greatest Heroes. That was really fun. And I watched that recently, and I was like, this is good. I wish we got more in this universe, but we didn't, and that's fine. But whatever. Justice League animated series was great. Yeah, if you're a Batman fan. That's what I always say about those shows. Yeah, this is great if you like Batman. If you like literally any other character, you're gonna feel like you're watching this with like a dick with thorns up your ass. But yeah, if you're a Batman fan, you like it. Superman the animated series is fun. I like. You know what? I'm not gonna make a video about this, so I might as well just say it. Superman the animated series has the polar opposite problem of the My Adventures with Superman cartoon. My Adventures with Superman feels like a sloppily written love letter to Superman from people who genuinely love Superman and love that mythology and love that character, and like that whole corner of the DC universe. But I don't think the writing is there. Some of the voice talent's kind of lacking. And it just sort of is like, oh, this is cute. This is a cute drawing. I'll put this on the refrigerator because I can see the love in there. I recognize the passion. Just everything else. It doesn't come together, I don't think. Meanwhile, Superman the Animated Series, it has like a dynamite voice cast. And the animation is like spectacular. The art style is great. The art direction is fantastic. The character designs are top notch. So like a lot of the intrigue and like the writing is really good. But at the same time, it does ultimately feel like a show made by people who were working on Batman the Animated Series and were told to make a Superman show. It does ultimately feel that way. It feels like, okay, you made Batman, and we know you love Batman. Now make Superman. But we don't want to make Superman. Fucking make Superman. Do it, or you don't get to make more Batman. That's kind of how Superman Animated Series feels to me. So, like, the talent's there, it's just the passion isn't, and the opposite is true of My Adventures with Superman, I sort of feel. But, yeah, here's hoping season 2 of My Adventures with Superman is better than season 1 was. 1610 says DCAU comic fans hate it post Batman animated series. As it went along, it drastically changed the source material. Yeah, they also just made Batman a dick. I don't like Batman as a dick. It's just not. I don't know. I'm not with it. You forgot Ultimate Spider-Man? I didn't forget it. I just purposely omitted it because I don't like to talk about it. Yeah, and Spectacular Spider-Man, it was fantastic. I do wish that show got a. Of all the shows to get a revival, look, I think at this point, Marvel can make a Spectacular Spider-Man season 3. They just choose not to. Why? I don't know, but they could, but they don't. They're fucking, I don't know. I mean, I am down for that other Spider-Man show, like the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. That looks fun. I know the art team said that they... Wow, I had my pajamas like right behind me the entire time. Didn't even notice that. That's peak streamer behavior right there. Well, they're clean. I just washed them. Whatever. They'll just sit there. Oh. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay. That's jalapeno in my eye. That's not good. Okay. There we go. Not jalapeno, by the way. Just, my hands are still sort of like wet from when I wiped them earlier, and my fingers still smell like jalapeno from when I ate dinner. But yeah, I didn't blind myself on stream. That would have sucked. But I think it was it 1610? DCAU changed. Yeah, never mind. Yeah. All right. So hardcore DC Batman fans, or a bunch of other hardcore DC Batman fans only like Batman the Animated Series, but hate everything after that. New Adventures of Batman toy commercial and Bruce Timm fan fiction. Well, for like the later seasons. Yeah, I mean, there's some good episodes in there, too. Like, I think the Mad Love episode is really good. And, like, the Two-Face episode, like, the end of the series is also really good. But just beyond that, it just feels like Batwank for the sake of Batwank. And, like, I don't know, I'm just not with it. I get that they're like trying to move the character more in the direction of Batman Beyond, which is, you know, in continuity with that universe, but I just don't like that as like the end goal for Batman. Um, the Captain Marvel movies are really fun. I saw someone like shit on them, and I was like, why? They're actually they're like the only DC like movies that are like pretty consistently like just fun, good movies. Like literally, if it had the Marvel Studios logo on it, you'd say it's like fantastic, and I should shut the fuck up and stop complaining about them. That's I don't know. But a lot of the DC movies, I feel like that. Like I feel like if you just slap the Marvel Studios logo on it, people would say it's amazing, it's perfect, it's 10 out of 10, IGN. John Dice has a hot take. Okay, let's go for it. I personally like My Adventures with Superman over Superman the Animated Series. It doesn't mean I hate Superman the Animated Series. It's just My Adventures with Superman speaks to me more personally. Same here, which is like kind of the frustration I have with that show. It's on like a concept level, it is everything that I want out of a Superman show. You have a Superman who is like a champion of the oppressed. You have like the News Kid Legion. Superman is fighting Omax. It's a Superman who is like questioning like his role in the universe, and he's like very sort of like neurotic, and it's a very sort of like Bronze Age take on Superman, but in like the modern day. I just feel like it's on the whole like the show is not that great. Like in terms of like the quality of like the animation and some of the voice acting, and they make weird choices like why is Deathstroke in a Superman show? Like why are we doing this? I mean, Superman versus the Suicide Squad is actually a pretty fun idea. Like that's another thing I like about the show. At the end of the day, it is again champion of the oppressed Superman. Clark Kent, investigative journalist, realizes that something is wrong in Denmark, and he actually has to go head to head with the United States government. It becomes Superman versus the military-industrial complex. That's cool. The show itself, the way it handles that idea is actually not great though. So I don't know, man. It's very unfortunate. I want to love it, and I get why a lot of Superman fans are like chomping at the bit for it, mainly because Superman fans don't get shit. I get it. Like when you're when you're dying of thirst in the desert, the stinkiest of piss will taste like the ambrosius of the gods, but I'm just not. I want to believe. Like Mulder, I want to believe, but I can't. Or is it Scully? I think it's I think it's the female officer. She didn't believe, and the other one was like, my sister and aliens. I haven't watched X-Files in a long time. But Timber says, indeed, even cooler adult Gwen Stacy knows Harry Osborn's. Spoilers. But yes, yeah. That was a really good conversation they had in the book. Also highlights how secretive Peter is. Like, he hasn't told MJ yet. Yeah, no, I absolutely love Ultimate Spider-Man. It's such a good book. Hickman has like a really good command of the Spider-Man cast. Again, just makes me curious and fucking bewildered that he hasn't written the Amazing Spider-Man book. Like, why? Why? This guy perfectly understands how to write those characters. Why? Put him on Spider-Man. He'd write an Amazing Spider-Man book. I mean, he's writing an Amazing Spider-Man book right now. In fact, someone would say it's the Ultimate Spider-Man book. But yeah, he'd do a really good Spider-Man book. If he like had to write in like the main 616 continuity, I think he'd do a really good job. But I'm really enjoying this in the meantime. 1610 says, I hate most of the DC animated universe. Only thing I like is the original Batman the Animated Series. I feel that. I don't hate everything in the DCAU. I think there's certainly some stuff that I like. I do like how they sort of streamline the Bronze Age DC universe and like the post-crisis DC universe. And they sort of like find cute and clever ways to bridge the gap between those two very distinct eras. But yeah, for the most part, the DCAU is not my preferred interpretation of those characters. Hickman said he wants to make Aunt May Carnage for his future Clone Saga adaptation. Is that a joke about the Bendis Ultimate Spider-Man book? Because if not, that's fucking hilarious. I love that. Dude, Hickman would be so based for that. I would unironically like dress up as Carnage and then just walk around the streets asking about have you heard the good news about our Lord and Savior Aunt May. I would film myself doing that if Hickman made Aunt May the villain of his Spider-Man book in a Clone Saga adaptation. That'd be so hilarious. How do you feel about X-Men 97 adapting Morrison? I think it's really cool. I mean, Morrison's like one of the few X-Men things I like really read and really enjoyed. So I'm glad that we're seeing more of that play out. Part of me is a little it would have been cool to see Cassandra Nova in the show. I get that maybe that's a little too weird to adapt. Like I saw a buddy of mine, actually it's Troy from Previous World. Actually I had him on the show like a couple episodes ago. But Troy was talking about how it kind of sucks that Cassandra Nova is gonna be in Deadpool 3 and not in like a proper X-Men movie. I get that, but Cassandra Nova is just weird, and not just like normal comic book weird. Like this isn't Galactus weird, or like, you know, Darkseid weird, or like Thanos weird. You know, like Darkseid's like, I'm on the ultimate quest for like a math equation. Or Thanos is like, I'm big and purple and I have a giant glove that makes me do anything. Or Galactus, who's like, I'm going to eat a planet. That's like normal comic book weird. Cassandra Nova is the twin sister to Charles Xavier, who Charles killed in the womb, and whose consciousness bounced around the cosmos. Yeah, no one's adapting that. In fact, I'm surprised that Deadpool's adapting it, because what the fuck? What do you do with that character? Yeah, man, I would have liked to see an adaptation of her in like the 97 cartoon, but you know what? Alright, that's fine. They're not gonna do it. That's whatever. I can live with that. I do think it would be nice to actually see the Morrison and Quietly costumes though, because I love those X-Men costumes, like the black and yellow leather daddy outfits. I think they look really cool. I don't know. It goes back to that thing where I feel like the X-Men aren't really superheroes. They're like a paramilitary outfit that handle mutant related problems. Fuck, why am I so snotty? Oh god, I hope I didn't get sick from Maddie or my girlfriend, but oh well. Yeah. I I'm really excited that we're seeing more of the Morrison stuff get adapted, because that's my favorite X-Men stuff. But yeah, man. Give us the leather daddy outfits now. That's all we're missing. It is kind of funny though. We're seeing a lot of people freak out about Rogue killing what's his fuck Boulevard Trask, and everyone's like, "Oh, the X-Men are killers now," or she's crossed the deep end. The X-Men aren't the superheroes are killing people now. It's like the X-Men were never really superheroes. Like the X-Men aren't traditionally like, they're not a superhero team in the traditional sense that like the Justice League are superheroes, or like the Avengers are superheroes. Like the X-Men they're like a private military outfit that handle mutant problems and mutant related problems. They're allowed to break the superhero rules because they're not really superheroes. I don't know. That's just, I'm seeing people have that hang up, and I'm like, I don't get it. That's not really a problem. You guys are freaking out about something that's not really an issue. I had to fap my nose for a second. Sorry. X-Men the Animated Series Season 5 animation dropped the ball to the Philippines Pornhub. Well, I didn't know the Philippines had Pornhub in the 90s, but I mean, good on them. That's pretty based. But I didn't watch that yet. I haven't gotten there yet. But if you're saying there's like a animation decline, well, that's unfortunate, and I will get there. I'm still in season 1 of my rewatch, or I guess not rewatch, I guess first time viewing of X-Men the Animated Series, and it is a show that I am watching. Miller's Marvel Knights Spider-Man. Peter had a high school reunion in the mid 2000s. He did. That man was 28 in 2003. So don't give me that bullshit about how he's 28 now. Timmy says, question: how do you feel about the rumors of DC creating the Ultimate DC universe similar to the Marvel universe? They tried that already several times. It didn't work, but we'll see how that pans out this time. I guess it'll be different this time. If I just make him eggs and cook them with the pepper cooked in it this time, maybe he won't hit me. No, sweetie, he's gonna beat you regardless. This is an endless cycle. Just like DC continuing to make Ultimate Universe equivalents for DC, it's always gonna happen. Wally's identity should have stayed public. I agree. That's like the one thing I don't like about Johns' run. I don't like that Wally gets like the genie put back in the bottle. I feel like that should have been like a consequence that he's like stayed with. Question: how do you make Final Crisis animated movie or Convergence animated movie. Um, shit. How do you make a Final Crisis movie? Like, so much of that book is like directly tied to being a book, so it'd be like hard to. That would be hard to adapt. Yeah, I don't know. Uh, I guess like loosely follow the structure as it's laid out in like the current Final Crisis trade. Uh, where it's like Final Crisis, and then like the Superman Beyond stuff happens. In the middle is like an interlude, and then you just cap off with uh, uh, the Legion of Supermen uh, saving the day. I don't know. I don't know how you adapt that book. It's very weird, and it works as a comic only. Um, the DCEU should have ended with Justice League and Justice League 2 being Crisis movies. Technically, Snyder did plan that. Well, Snyder's plan for Justice Leagues 2 and 3 are like Rock of Ages, if Rock of Ages was also Injustice. So, I mean, that also sounds pretty cool, but, I don't know, whatever. We might get that in, like, a comic one day. Who knows? We'll wait, like, 20 years and see what becomes of that. Thoughts on Gail Simone writing an arc of Action Comics after the Brainiac crossover event. The cover for that arc has Golden Age Superman. Oh, really? I knew Gail Simone was doing a Superman book, but I didn't know it was gonna be like the actual Action Comics series. That's pretty dope. Gail Simone Action Comics. Oh, they should bring me the her first run from like the early 2000s. Oh. Ooh. Okay. And this is gonna be another 3-issue arc. Okay, I'm down. You know, it would be kind of cool if DC sort of just for a while let Action Comics sort of be like a like one of the like a prestige book for like veteran comic book writers and artists to just do their fucking thing with Superman. Just do your thing. I'd be down with that. Because we got, like, Jason Aaron with his Bizarro World arc, which I thought was really fun. I went back and finally got a chance to read that. It was really good. Yeah, Gail Simone doing, like a Golden Age inspired arc would be pretty cool. I don't know, man. I'm down. I'm down with this. It sucks that we had to sacrifice Philip Kennedy Johnson, but it is what it is. In the meantime, it's pretty cool. DC fans after seeing Justice League 2017 just replace Steppenwolf with Darkseid and instead wrap up this New God shit. Yeah. How do you feel about the Tom King Wonder Woman? I liked the first like issue, and then like some of the stuff after that I didn't care for, and then I just completely dropped the book. But then I got issue 7 because I thought that was like a really cute sort of like filler issue. I thought that was really fun. But yeah, outside of that, I haven't really paid attention to it because some of the stuff that I saw just granted out of context, but like Wonder Woman hitting her mom, like as a teenager, and then like having an invisible jet, but like it has guns on it. I just didn't fuck with any of that. I just wasn't down. Yeah, the reinvention of Kite Man was really good. Do you have any love for lower tier characters, considering your anti JLI bias? Yeah, I like Ted Kord. I think Ted Kord's a really good character that DC, for whatever reason, chooses to do nothing with. Literally, your answer to Tony Stark is right there, and you're just like actively choosing to ignore him. I don't understand it. I don't get it, but whatever. Yeah, I like Ted Kord. I think Captain Marvel is also pretty fun. If we're gonna count him as like a lower tier character, unfortunately, but he's pretty cool. I like Hawkman. Hawkman's pretty cool. Green Arrow, if we're being realistic, Green Arrow is also a lower tier character. I like Green Arrow a lot. So, yeah, there are lower tier characters at DC that I really like that aren't the big characters. I hate Justice League International with passion. Yeah, I agree. I kind of hated the Spectacular Spider-Man near the end of the show. Really interesting. What sort of rubbed you the wrong way about it? You're like the first person I've ever seen say that, so I'm like fascinated to know like what you didn't like about it. Never liked the animation style. I feel that. Actually, that's like the reason why I didn't watch season 1 at all, because the animation style just turned me off. But I thought everything else was really good. Like the voice cast is really good. The writing is spectacular. The fight sequences. That's what got me into watching the show. I think I saw like the fight scene of like Spider-Man fighting the Shocker, and that's when I was like, oh fuck, I gotta watch this show now. And then I watched season 2, and then we didn't get to season 3. We got Ultimate Spider-Man instead. So yeah. But yeah, no, the animation definitely, well, the art style definitely like turned me off, but yeah, it grew on me because it works really good for like action sequences. It's very dynamic. I like James Cameron's Spider-Man and X-Men pitches. I've never seen James Cameron's pitch for an X-Men film, but I've seen the Spider-Man pitch, and his Spider-Man pitch is fucking amazing. I still to this day think it would have been the best Spider-Man movie ever made. In fact, honestly, if you just make that movie now, as is, it would be the best Spider-Man film ever made. So I don't know. I'm excited for Josie Campbell's My Adventures with Superman comic continuation. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let me see, Josie Campbell. I know that name. Oh. Yeah, Josie Campbell. She wrote the Mary Marvel book. and a lot of the other stuff that I didn't read. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. Red Tornado, gritty reboot, Tom King's vision, but DC. Well, I think Brad Meltzer beat him to it by like 10 years with that one. It's a Justice League book called The Tornado's Path. Literally just Tom King's vision, but with Red Tornado. It's really fucked up too. Like Red Tornado like gets a body, but then it gets like mutilated by Solomon Grundy. So he has to get put back in his robot body. It's a really fucked up comic. Or at least that's how I think it went. I don't remember. I haven't read it since I was in high school, but I remember reading it and going like, "Holy shit, this is dark." This is like unbelievably bleak. Vixen gritty reboot, African vigilante crime drama. I'm struggling to see how that would not be like approached in the most like racially insensitive way possible, but it could be done. It can be done. On lower tier heroes and A-list teams, you give Melcher's JLA a pass, considering it has Red Tornado and Vixen. I wonder why. Because I like Brad Meltzer's approach to those characters in JLA. But honestly, if they weren't in the JLA, I wouldn't care. It's as simple as that. I'm only reading them because they're in that book. Outside of that, I don't care about them. John Ty says, I still remember this. When X-Men 97 was coming out, fans got upset that X-Men Evolution wasn't getting a revival. Now with the success of X-Men 97, those fans have pie on their faces. I mean, I still get it. Like if you want more of X-Men Evolution, like it kind of sucks that you don't get your show back. But I mean, I'm saying this as someone who I loved X-Men Evolution. In fact, I still stand by it. That show was the superior X-Men show compared to X-Men the Animated Series. But it's kind of like the Teen Titans cartoon, where it has an ending. It does end. Like, what do you like? What's the problem here? Like, we need closure. The last like episode is just Charles Xavier saying, "Yeah, I was in Apocalypse's mind. I saw the future. Things are gonna get real fucked up for us, but you know what? We're gonna be okay, because we're the X-Men." And like the ending is like saying the adventure continues, but we don't necessarily have to see that adventure continue. It's just implying that the show is going to end, but there is like it's a never-ending battle. That show ends with a lot of finality, in my opinion. So I never understood why people were like, "We need more closure." You got your closure, baby. It's done. It's the story's over. You're fine. I don't know. I thought the show had a pretty proper ending. I was always more of a fan of the Batman series over the animated series. Same here. It's funny, I was actually talking about that with a coworker last week. And like, yeah, no, I think I said the Batman is basically like a cyberpunk version of the Adam West TV show. And he was like, "Yeah, that." He's like, "Yeah, that fits," because it kind of is. It's like a it's a post Blade Runner Adam West Batman show. I fucks with it. As soon as I figured that out, yeah, that's perfect. Um, yeah, the anime inspired Batman show is really cool. Yeah, I absolutely love it, and it holds up too. Like I went back and rewatched the Batman versus Dracula a couple of months ago. Um, Still really good. Still a really good show. Still a really good movie. Um, I always wished we got that Hush movie, um, but I think the rumor episode, like the animators talk about how that's like basically what they would have done with the Hush film. So it's almost like we did get the Hush film in a way. Um, Scream says, "Is it possible to replace the A-list heroes from their mantles?" Um, I think I answered this last week, but yeah, no, it is possible. Um, in fact, Marvel and DC have done it. They just, they just, they did not commit to the bit. They did not stick the landing. Um, it's a, like, it's a lot like skateboarding, you know, like when you're skateboarding and like you want to like land a trick, uh, the hard part isn't getting your board in the air. The hard part is keeping it underneath your feet. And actually, that's not even the hard part. The hard part really is just putting your feet back on the board once you're in the air. Like when you're skating, you're trying to like do an ollie or something like that. You're gonna like, okay, imagine this. Imagine like my phone's a skateboard. This is the tail of the board, right? You are going to pop the bottom of the board, and then it's going to like fly in the air as you like slide your other leg up, and you're gonna jump, and the board's just gonna like be underneath your feet. But at that point, in order to land the trick, you have to put your feet back on the board, and you have to keep it under you as you like slam the board into the ground and roll away. But you have to be confident. You have to be like dead ass confident when you slam your feet back on the board, and you have to be confident when you're rolling away. And positive forward momentum with a sequential narrative is the same way. You're gonna have to shake things up because that's the nature of comics, you know, gimmicks, deaths, new status quo. But in order for any of those stunts, any of those events, any of those status quo shakeups to matter or mean anything, you're gonna have to show that, you know, you mean it. And so far DC just keeps, well, DC and Marvel for that matter, they keep bailing. You know, they don't keep the board underneath their feet. Like Batman had Bruce Wayne had the perfect death after Final Crisis. And then they had the perfect follow-up when Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely replaced Bruce Wayne with Dick Grayson and replaced Tim Drake as Robin with Damian Wayne as Robin. You had the perfect 21st century dynamic duo. DC fucked it up immediately by bringing Bruce Wayne back. Like, and you can't, like, what, yeah. And you can't, like, you can't unfuck it now. It's just fucked now. So like that's bad. But that was the perfect time to replace Batman. They just didn't stick the landing with it. Same with Peter Parker as Spider-Man. Clone Saga, on paper, perfect way to to close out Peter Parker's story. The coming of age tale has come to a close. Peter has gone from being like the vengeful, angry nerd to being a husband and soon to be father, and he's gonna be working at like this like science government contracting, whatever the fuck he was doing in Oregon or Seattle or wherever he was on the East Coast, not East Coast, on the West Coast. And then you replace him with Ben Reilly. Okay, cool. New character who has to go on this journey of self-discovery through Spider-Man. Alright, game. What was the problem? The book itself was shit. The book itself was kind of dog shit, so I get why Marvel felt the need to bail. But honestly, if they just kept it going, I really feel like we could have seen something kind of cool there. But I get it, you know. Clone Saga, my former boss was running a comic shop just before Clone Saga ended, but according to him, he was like, Spider-Man used to sell... Like, Spider-Man used to be, like, the 90s equivalent to Batman. Like, the success that Batman does now, where Batman's, like, the #1 comic on the shelves, like by default, that was Spider-Man for, like, 10 years. And then Clone Saga happened, and it literally slashed the readership in half. Which is funny, because he said, like a decade later, they would do One More Day, which slashed the readership in half from the half that was still there. So now Spider-Man has just been like quartered over these past like 30 years. But yeah, I don't know. Just yeah, Clone Saga was definitely a misfire. I get why they had to bail, but you know, it just... But yeah, that was the perfect time to replace Peter Parker. And there are other characters who get replaced and, like, have really good replacement books. Like, the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle book. That's how you replace a character. I don't have that much of a vested interest in Green Lantern, but I like a lot of the Green Lantern stuff when Kyle Rayner takes over. Like, I have those trays. They're really fun. That's a good way to replace a character. It's just you have to commit to the bit. And Marvel and DC just, they never commit to the bit. But yeah, no, it is possible to replace A-list heroes if you have balls. Silver Age Superman fans wish they had Lois Lane at home the way they would have to leave the house and face modern age Batman fans. Oh man. On Batman the Animated Series, it's weird that they never did Oracle. You know what? I don't think it's weird. Because I feel like Bruce Timm and Paul Dini and a lot of those guys are like of an era where they recognize Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. And I get it. I get it. It was also like so fresh in the comics at the time. Like by the time you get Batman the Animated Series, Dick Grayson had been Nightwing for like about a decade at that point. But like Oracle was like new. Like I don't think you see Oracle until like the late 80s or early 90s. Like she shows up in like the middle of the the Carl Kessel and John Ostrander Suicide Squad run. And even then, that's like just as like a voice. She doesn't like actually show up as Barbara Gordon until like years into that book's lifespan. So that's like one of those things that's like super new in the comics. And it's not like Bane where like you can make a fucking toy to sell to kids where it's like, no, here's Bane. Have Batman bust Bruce Wayne's back open like a Coachella girl on Friday night. Yeah, let's do that, kids. Like, how do you sell wheelchair computer girl as like a toy for cereal boxes? You don't. Yeah, toy companies weren't all that inclusive back then. At least I don't think so. They probably were. I mean, you could fucking market anything. Like, you could have like a Professor X in that like crazy hover chair that the 90s X-Men show people made because they didn't feel like animating an actual wheelchair. But yeah, it's a generational thing. They're probably just like, Oracle's too new and too weird, don't care. Bruce Timm said his Oracle, Bruce and Barbara's secret kid that would have shown up in a future Batman Beyonce. Yeah, no, I'm good. I can live without that. Thank you. Marvel Studios Deadpool and Wolverine, not Deadpool 3, thanks to Kevin Feige's blockbuster event orders. Then what the fuck is it? I mean, it's basically Deadpool 3. I don't know. That movie looks really fun, by the way. I'm extremely down. Serene says there's an argument that it would be better if the X-Men were fully separate from the rest of the Marvel Universe. Thoughts? I used to think that for like the longest time. The only reason I don't think that, or the only reason I don't stand by that mentality now, is because, well, the Ultimate Universe, mutants, even when you're not reading the X-Men, like the culture around like mutant hysteria is prevalent as fuck in all of those books. And it's like you can't escape them. Like, even when you're reading it like a comic event that has nothing to do with the X-Men or nothing to do with the mutants are still like they are the presence of mutants is always felt in that book. And it's like a large reason why the Ultimate Universe feels like a cyberpunk version of the Marvel Universe, because the government has like, well, not just the government, but like the military industrial complex is like built itself around mutants. It's very interesting. So no, I definitely think mutants should be like a big part of the Marvel Universe. And also Earth X. Earth X was a big reason why I was like, nah, yeah, mutants should be a part of the Marvel Universe proper. So I get where that argument comes from, because it feels like in the 616 comics, there's just not a lot of connection between what goes on in the X books and literally everything the fuck else, because the X-Men is almost like a brand in and of itself. So I get it, but at the same time, no, the mutants are like a major part of like the Marvel Universe tapestry and mythology. So like getting rid of them would make the Marvel Universe kind of not feel like the Marvel Universe. Like, in a weird way, that's like kind of the big reason why like the MCU almost doesn't feel like proper Marvel to me. Like, you can have Marvel without you know, the Fantastic Four, without Spider-Man, but a Marvel universe without mutants feels wrong, because mutant hysteria is like a big part of that universe. But c'est la vie. That's those are my thoughts. Um, Turing says, also on the same argument, there are some that feel the Bat books work better when they are separate from the rest of the DC universe, because you get paranoid Bat God when he's more involved with the JLA. I mean, that's sort of different because the DC universe feels disconnected already. I mean, there are certainly times where writers and artists will like remind you that all these characters exist like in a shared connective universe and not in a vacuum. But I mean, a lot of the classic Hallmark DC stories sort of feel like epics that take place in a vacuum already. So like, I don't know. The DC universe just it feels disconnected, because that's like the DNA of how that universe got started. Like, you're taking these different bits of mythology and sort of just like smushing them together and saying, now these two characters coexist. Whereas Marvel is like conceived as a universe already. So I'm like more okay with like different corners of like the DC universe feeling disconnected from others, in a way that I'm not okay with like the Marvel universe feeling disconnected. How can I tell you? Name some definitive runs. All right, how about the ones I have after I eat Taco Bell? That's a joke. I don't eat Taco Bell anymore. They fuck with me. Well, no, I do have Taco Bell when I drink, which is probably why I end up having that problem. But I guess the definitive runs. Like Mark Waid and Greg LaRocque's run on the Flash. That's a definitive run. John Byrne's Man of Steel. Whether you love John Byrne or hate John Byrne doesn't fucking matter. John Byrne has like probably the second most definitive run on that character, next to the Mort Weisinger era. Mike Grell's Green Arrow, that's really definitive. Dennis O'Neill's run on Iron Man, with I think Mark Brooks on the art, with although that book switched artists a lot, but yeah, Dennis O'Neill's run on Iron Man's pretty definitive. Both of the Michelini and Layton Iron Man runs are definitive, as far as I'm concerned. Frank Miller's run on Daredevil, next to Ann Nocenti, and John Romita Jr.'s run on Daredevil, next to Kevin Smith, and Joe Quesada's run on Daredevil, next to Bendis, Alex Lee's run on Daredevil, and so on and so forth, up until Chip Zdarsky. So like, every run on Daredevil the past like 40 years is pretty definitive, in my opinion. Jonathan Hickman's run on the Avengers. That's another one that's definitive. Grant Morrison's run on Batman. That's also definitive. Scott Snyder's run on Batman. It's another one. It's not my personal favorite, but it is. I can't deny the iconography there. Let's see. Peter David's Aquaman, definitive. Jeff Johns' Aquaman is pretty definitive. That book brought in like a lot of Aquaman fans. I'm just looking at my bookshelf now. Jeff Johns and not Howard Porter. Scott Collins. Yeah, Jeff Johns and Scott Collins' run on The Flash is definitive. Grant Morrison's run on Animal Man is really definitive. Uh, hmm. Uh, Marv Wolfman and George Perez on New Teen Titans, definitive. Uh, Chris Claremont's run on the X-Men is definitive. That is like the definitive run on an American comic book period. Uh, yeah. Uh, just to name a few, those are some pretty definitive comic book runs. Um, Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang's New 52 Wonder Woman. That's also definitive. Um, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's fucking definitive. Uh, let's see. Donny Cates' run on the Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman run on Venom. That is a definitive run on Venom. Um, oh fuck. I like described that book to my coworker last week, or I guess like 2 weeks ago at this point, because he hasn't like consistently read Marvel comics since like, I think he said the Heroic Age, like that's around the time when he stopped reading Marvel comics, like just before, Marvel Now. So I was telling him about like what was going on in, like the current Venom book, and he was like, wait. You mean Venom's a space god? And I was like, yeah, Venom's a space god. And like symbiotes, they have this like the weakness to like fire and sound. That's actually like the result of psychosomatic trauma when they used to be the blood of the Eldritch god Null, and he like turned his blood into like a sword, but like the fire and the sound from like the kiln that he turned his blood into a sword with, it scared the symbiotes. Now they have PTSD, so whenever they encounter fire or sound, it freaks them out. And he was like, that sounds like the dumbest shit. And Marvel Comics needs to burn. And I was like, no, it's cool. It's actually really cool. And he was like, no. Oh, man. I'm pretty sure I scared him off of reading contemporary Marvel Comics with just that. But I think it's pretty cool. Also a definitive run on Venom. So yeah, that's really good. What's another one? Steve Ditko on Spider-Man. And it's like the definitive run on Spider-Man for a lot of people. So much so to the fact where a lot of people like say they begin and end with Steve Ditko's run on Spider-Man. Like Grant Morrison says that, Sam Raimi says that. Like there were a lot of people who are like Spider-Man begins and ends with Steve Ditko. But yeah, that stuff's pretty good. I'm trying to think what's another like definitive run. I consider the Grant Morrison New 52 Superman run to be like that is the definitive modern run on Superman. Like if you're going to like adapt anything, just go for that. Just do that. If you're going to do anything with Superman in a modern context, just fucking just do Grant Morrison's Action Comics with Rags Morales. Just do that. That's the definitive modern Superman, as far as I'm concerned. Just do that. But yeah, those are like some pretty definitive comic runs. I don't know. I could probably list like a lot more, but Um, I don't know. I could go on forever with that. That's like a whole video in and of itself. On the Infinity Gems and Cosmic Cubes, why don't the heroes use it more to undo civilian casualties and collateral damage? Because superheroes don't care about regular people. Because the American superhero is a deontological, like, power fantasy nightmare. Because everyone's an Iran character who's unwilling to admit that they actually are. The monsters of their own objectivist dreams. That's the Hassan Piker answer to that question. The real answer is, I didn't see the death happen, so it didn't happen. Joe Kelly's Deadpool run, the Deadpool run that started the character. Yes. In fact, I often say that Deadpool begins and ends with Joe Kelly and Ed McGuinness. Peter David's Hulk run, the Hulk that barely stopped. Yeah, that's another one. Peter David's Hulk that's another definitive run on Hulk. In fact, a lot of the Hulk material that we get now is just riffing off of Peter David's Hulk. So that's a great run. Mark Grunwald's Captain America, Politics Out of This Time. I haven't read the Mark Grunwald Captain America run. Everyone says I should check it out. I will at some point. It's just, this is an expensive hobby. I'm barely keeping up with things as is. Yeah, Molten Man's in the Spectacular Spider-Man show. He's like Liz Allen's brother. He's like it's a weird workaround for that character, but alright. What's up, Emmanuel? What do you think has been the most lazy and best comic stories of all time? Like, stories that are, like, lazy but also really good? Or, like, stories that are, like, lazy and bullshit and also stories that are really good, like, over there? You know, I guess for the former, I'll say Identity Crisis. That's one that's like a really bullshit, lazy pitch of like, hey, Watchmen's really good. How do we get Watchmen in like the actual DC universe though? And then Brad Meltzer and Rags Morales actually make a really fucking good Watchmen comic in the DC universe. So yeah, I think Identity Crisis is it comes from like a lazy pitch that, you know, we get like probably one of the best DC stories out of. What else? Okay, Earth X, that's another one. What if everyone in the Marvel Universe had superpowers? That's a lazy pitch, but no, let's run with that. Okay, here we go. Probably one of the best Marvel comics ever published. So, yeah, those are like some ideas for like the laziest pitches that turn into like some of the best stories of all time. Sometimes says, I was just upset with the writing for Liz near the end of Spectacular Spider-Man. Yeah, and I'm still sort of pissed that, you know, Peter fumbled the bag real hard there, man. I'm just saying. But like, I get it. Gwen is a childhood friend, and I get it. Mary Jane Watson, very hot. But don't fumble the Latina baddie, bro. You fumbled the Latina baddie. And I can never forgive you for that, Peter Parker. You fucked up, man. You fucked up. X-Men Evolution and Teen Titans had endings. Enough said. Yes, exactly. Those shows have like definitive endings. We don't need any more in those universe. or I guess those universes, they're done. Um, on the Joker, if he can't be killed, why not trap him in the Phantom Zone? That's an excellent question. I don't know why Superman doesn't just say, you know what, fuck it, we're just Bruce, Bruce, buddy, I love you, but your judgment is clearly askew. We're just gonna throw the Joker in the Phantom Zone and call it a night. We're not dealing with this ever again. Yeah, I don't know why no one does that. Someone should do that. The Batman animated series is just Ultimate Adam West Batman. Yes, it is, and it's amazing. Is there a show where its cancellation drove you insane? Yeah, Spectacular Spider-Man. Spectacular Spider-Man broke me. That's why I'm as jaded and insane as I am today. I'll never receive closure. It makes me sick. Sick to my sinuses. Okay, so that's a good one. Or I guess a bad one because it got canceled. But also the MTV Spider-Man show, because that's another one that's really good. Canceled, and it ends on like the biggest cliffhanger of ever. Peter is like, he's psychically forced to kill his girlfriend as Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man is a wanted fugitive, and then Peter just gives up. He throws the costume in the river, and then show's over. Anyways, here's Spider-Man 2. It has nothing to do with this MTV show at all. Yeah, that drove me insane. Of all the shows that need to get brought back, honestly, someone needs to bring that show back. Like what the fuck is Neil Patrick Harris doing right now? Get him on tap to be Spider-Man again. Yeah, that show definitely that blew my bacon pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. Scott Snyder's run on Batman feels like the 2004 Batman show. A little bit, yeah, I can see that. It's very tech heavy. Sorry, give me 1 second. Oh god, I'm dying. I'm dying of my own genetics. Never get allergies. Hold on a second. I just realized I'm not wearing my beanie at all. Let me rectify that. I get to say I like at least wore it for a couple minutes before I ended the stream. Stream says, do you feel giving villains fates worse than death are more morally questionable than breaking the no-kill rule? For example, in a Doctor Who episode where several evil aliens are imprisoned in eternal hell prison. Yeah, I mean, it's real fucked up. It's kind of like the Phantom Zone a little bit, where like, it's funny, General Zod like straight up says in the opening of Man of Steel, like, y'all are too bitch made to like straight up kill me, but you'll throw me in a black hole for the rest of eternity. See, that's pretty fucked up. I don't that kind of is a fate worse than death, right? Like, Superman has no problem throwing you in like basically purgatory. Like, you can't feel, you can't touch, you can't taste. All you have is your consciousness and you're aware that you're conscious, but that's it. You can't do anything else. But it won't kill you. He'll just throw you in, like, the worst solitary confinement known to consciousness. But I will never kill a person. I'll drive them insane, so when they eventually break out of the Phantom Zone, they're, like, even worse than they were before I threw them in there. But I'll never kill anyone. Like, the logic of that breaks down a little bit, but... yeah, no, the whole no-kill rule thing, it just sort of becomes parodic at a certain point. It's like, especially when you consider the prison industrial complex and how it works, is it any better than just straight up killing someone? If we're gonna play the let's use real world logic for superheroes, like if we're gonna play that, which we often do in superhero comics, I don't know, just seems like throwing them in prison is, or the thing that sometimes you'll see Batman do or like Daredevil do is, I'm gonna break all of your bones so you're in med bay traction for like 5 years until you eventually break out of prison when you're healed, only so we can do this song and dance over and over again. Why? Just fucking just fucking, I don't know what is, but like, just do something. Like, I don't know. The whole prison thing's clearly not working. 1610 Man says, Marvel editorial and DC editorial, you want beginning, middle, and end. Read our alternate realities where they last before the ideas suck dry from our mainstream universes. Yeah, that's true. Well, so Marvel was going bankrupt. Oh, like in the 90s, yeah. Actually, Joe Quesada has a really interesting discussion with Mark Miller over on the Miller Time podcast. It's really insightful. He talks a lot about how he felt like he was signing up to be like the last editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, and that was like really scary for him. So that was a really fascinating listen if you ever are interested in checking that out. But yeah, Downside says the problem with Green Lantern changing its mantle is that Green Lanterns are cops, so fans are fine with things like Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, or Kyle using the Green Lantern mantle. That's true. So that is like a bit of a disingenuous comparison, but still. There are other characters who have been replaced, and they've been replaced very well. Screw Omega says, on Batman the Animated Series, they had no problem doing a version of Tim Drake. Is it just that they needed a Robin? Yes, they needed a Robin, and they weren't allowed to use Jason Todd because of the censorship laws that all cartoons had to work with at the time. Like, you couldn't have like an established character die. That was just a thing you weren't allowed to do in animation. 1610 says, just bring back pre-Crisis Earth 2 and MC2 universes. Okay. But fans wouldn't support it like DC New 52, Earth 2, and Marvel New Year Vows. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree. I think the only reason New 52, Earth 2 didn't succeed was because it was New 52, and a lot of DC fans... If you think Snyder fans are, like, insane and annoying and won't shut the fuck up and complain until they get what they want, just regular DC Comics fans were like that during the entirety of the New 52. Literally, there was a website. I'm not sure if it's still there, but there was a website that was dedicated to, like, how many days it's been since DC did something stupid. Let me see if that website's still there. Okay, here it is. Has DC done something stupid today? Is it still up and running? It'd be fucking hilarious if it is. Dude, this was a real website. I swear to God, it was. Oh, it was. You had to be there. No, it's not there anymore. Aww. Damn it, they got rid of it. Shit. But literally a whole website dedicated to things DC fans didn't like. And it was literally just like, it got to a point where it's just like small stuff. And it was like, dude, why are you even here? If you don't like it, just leave. Like, DC Comics fans were the Snyderverse fans before the Snyderverse fans discovered DC Comics existed. I swear, I stand by that. I fucking stand by that. So, like, Zack Snyder fans and DC fans are like a match made in heaven because they're the exact same. But yeah, like the New 52 Earth 2 book was really good, and it has like a proper beginning, middle, and end. It's a really solid read. It's a good run. DC equals patchwork universe and Marvel equals shared universe. Exactly. I had Taco Bell, and now my toilet is broken, bro. That's a nuclear problem, man. I'm serious. It is. Scream says, also on the same argument, do you feel the Spidey mythos works better when it is more separated from the rest of the Marvel Universe? I hate Peter Parker being a full-time Avenger. I don't like Spider-Man being an Avenger, but that doesn't mean I want Spider-Man to feel disconnected from the rest of the Marvel Universe. The way I always saw it was that the Marvel Universe is sort of like broken up into like cliques. So you have the Avengers over here as like the red carpet celebrity superheroes, and then you have the X-Men over there, and they're like they only deal with like mutant shit. They're like a weird sort of like mutant response team. They're like a private military outfit. And yeah, the Fantastic Four over here, but they're like not technically superheroes. They're more so like they're like super scientists who are just celebrities, and they do like silly TED Talks, but they like go off into like alternate dimensions and explore shit. And then they like come back and they talk about stuff. So that's what like the Fantastic Four is. And then you just have like Spider-Man, who's like just some dude in like a spandex gimp suit, who's just like a goofy goober. Like I feel like Spider-Man's like the like trash hobo of the Marvel Universe. But like his role only works like against the backdrop of the larger Marvel universe. Not to say you can't like have adaptations where you don't recognize the wider Marvel universe. There definitely are that work really well, but Spider-Man is like the dirty trash hobo superhero, and his role works perfectly against the backdrop of like the greater Marvel landscape. So I do feel like that character works really well in an established Marvel universe in a context with the other superheroes. So yeah, that's just where I'm coming from with that. Carl Kessel Daredevil is definitive. Did I say Carl Kessel Daredevil? I meant Frank Miller Daredevil. I don't know. Yeah, sorry, I slipped there. But yeah, I mean, I can imagine Carl Kessel having a good Daredevil run. Emmanuel, who do you think has the best and worst reputations in the comic book landscape? Like in universe, definitely Spider-Man. Spider-Man has a pretty bad reputation among the superheroes and just civilians. Let's see. Wally West, kind of, because when he was Kid Flash, he was the guy that nobody liked to be around, and then when he became the Flash, he sort of became like Andrew Tate for a little bit. He was like the Andrew Tate superhero for a couple of years, and then like he has this like cultural redemption arc where he like not really a redemption arc. He just gets married and has kids, and he's just like not a shithead. But I can imagine that like that reputation of like the frat boy jackass sort of followed him along for a while, and that not really being the image that like the Justice League wants to represent them, or the legacy of the Flash for that matter. So I could see the Flash having like a not great reputation because of Wally's early Flash career. Trying to think. Daredevil for a long time had a really bad reputation because his identity got leaked, so there's that. Wolverine has a pretty bad reputation. Yeah. Those are the ones that like immediately come to me right now. Oh, Green Arrow. The other superheroes do not like Green Arrow in the DC universe because he's like a loudmouth, like, I'm a left winger. Okay, Wally, that's yeah, but like I'm a left winger. Okay, Wally, cool. This is why you should vote for my party, or else you're a Nazi. Okay, Wally, you're not invited. We're literally just talking about what kind of Keurig we're trying to install in the break room. Keurig, did you know they support Nazi propaganda and the blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, well, yeah, the Justice League don't like Green Arrow. So yeah, those are like superheroes that have like bad reputations. Eric Holden, aka Blows Himself Up Dude, quote, Frank Miller's Daredevil run, definitive Daredevil run, beginning, middle, and end, enough said. I agree. Yeah, that's another classic brown coat Eric W. Well, one of my friends, my coworker actually, said that my channel reminds him a lot of Blows Himself Up Dude. I'm not sure I'm like that, like, level of like YouTube comic prestigious, but I took that as like that's like a big compliment for me. Yeah, like Eric was like definitely a big influence on my reading habits as a kid, um, growing up. Uh, John Ty says Action Comics by Grant Morrison. Both Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman runs and the Scott Snyder Batman run are definitive runs on the Trinity, in my opinion. I definitely feel that. Um, 1610 says, for some fans, a lot of runs begin and end with the creators of the characters themselves. Yeah, and I respect that. That's not something that I fall into because I feel like there's a lot of really good stories that come after the creators like walk away. Like I really love Ditko Spider-Man, but that character definitely evolves into the Spider-Man that we sort of like traditionally know and love under John Romita Jr. and then later Jerry Conway and Gil Kane. And same with Iron Man. I feel like definitive Iron Man. Well, there's two definitive Iron Men. There's the definitive like Bronze Age Iron Man that sort of like tracks along with that character throughout like the pre-Extremis era. That doesn't start until David Michelinie and Bob Layton's run, and there's the 21st century Iron Man, which like starts with really the Mike Grell stuff. That's when we sort of get 21st century like post Bush administration era Iron Man, which is sort of like what the Tony Stark Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff is ripping off of, and the Extremis, and then later the Matt Fraction and Salvador LaRocca material, like all that sort of riffing off of what Mike Grell started with, Tony Stark being the Secretary of Defense. So yeah, those are like the two like definitive takes on the character, but those both start way after I think Don Heck and Stan Lee's run. I think it's Don Heck and not Jack Kirby. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure Iron Man's a Don Heck character. American superhero and civilian casualties equal Kratos. Yeah. How powerful should Batman and Superman be? Because some feel they're too OP at times. I feel like Batman shouldn't be like super ultra powerful, but I also feel like Batman shouldn't be like super ultra kung fu master guy. The way I've always interpreted Batman as a character is basically imagine the Guy Ritchie version of Sherlock Holmes. Like he's like a master tactician, and like he's like the master of inductive reasoning. So take that version of Batman, or much rather that version of Sherlock Holmes, and that's like how I view Batman in my head. Like it's not that like, oh man, he trained with the ultimate ninjas of the ninja. Now he can ninja his way out of everything. It's more so like Tin Man, hallway corridor, bulge, breast pocket, golden caliber, laser pistol, chain, limp in leg, busted cybernetic implant in the eye, weak spot. Like it's more like he's just analyzing everyone, and he like does it instantaneously. So the fight's sort of over before it even begins. That's more so how I view Batman. And he's like he's like the master of like deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning. So, um, yeah, that's kind of how I view that version of that's how I view the character. And Superman is just as powerful as he needs to be. Um, there's a speech that Thor gives in the current Al Ewing run, where Thor's like the hero, a hero is measured by their feats, um, but a hero uh, measures up to uh, like the battle at hand. Um, so like I don't know. That's kind of how I view Superman. Like Superman can withstand whatever is thrown his way because he has to. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how I view their power level in a way. Spectacular Spider-Man, Peter Parker, nigga. Peter Parker should have nutted while he had the chance. Oh man. Welcome to this year's Spider-Man Doujinshi. um, didn't the Lego Batman movie put the Joker in the Phantom Zone? Yeah, Lego Batman did put the Joker in the Phantom Zone. And it didn't work. In fact, it just made everything way worse. On Batman sparing the Joker, why do I feel it's more selfish? Bruce secretly likes a rival that constantly challenges his body and mind. I feel like Bruce has a secret warrior bloodlust. Yeah, I don't like that version of Batman. I think it's dumb and bad. Yeah, MTV Spider-Man was really good. Neil Patrick Harris is still counting that Harold and Kumar money with Spider-Man royalties. Yeah, dude, just fucking get him to be Spider-Man again. It's not gonna be that hard. And if he asks for $1 million, you're Disney. You can spare it. It's fine. Wait. I saw the. No. Where was it? There we go. Then you have the All-Star Superman version of the Phantom Zone, where it's like heaven. Well, yeah, that's true. I guess the Phantom Zone is like whatever you sort of like think about it before you go there. It's kind of like an astral death. Are all superheroes and vigilantes secretly adrenaline bloodlust junkies? Because I feel like a lot of superheroes just enjoy beating up bad guys and looking for stronger opponents. I think you'd have a fun time reading this. I think you'd like this book. I think this book would be really interesting for you if you ever get a chance to read it. Yeah, you'd definitely like this book, Supreme. Yeah, DC post-crisis fans during New 52 were just complaining 24. Yeah, no, they were rabid. My problem with New 52 Earth 2 was Earth 2 World's End. That run wasn't great. The original run and Earth 2 Society were great. Yes, Earth 2 Society was really good. Oh, the website went up. Oh, the DC doing something stupid that became Newsarama. That's funny. That actually makes a lot of sense. Actually, Marvel Universe limited to Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Avengers, simplified and condensed. Yeah, I mean that sounds like a standard Marvel Universe. Um, uh, DC Universe limited to Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Justice League, and the Titans. Yeah, and that sounds like a simplified DC Universe. Uh, Old school comic book YouTubers, blows himself up, dude. Geekvolution, uh, Mount Vernon kid. I didn't watch his videos a lot. Zip Block Glory, I didn't watch him either. I did watch Comic Uno. I did watch Deadpool Zilla. Deadpool and Friends, yeah. I'm not sure if you guys remember, there was also another one. It was like 123 Channel Haha. It was like two guys. One of them was a DC guy, one of them was a Marvel guy. And they had like the Batman and Robin, like the 60s Adam West Burt Ward intro. I can't, dude. I always feel like I'm like butchering my explanation for this channel, but like they existed. I watched their shit like religiously in high school. But I don't know. That was another comic book YouTube channel that I really liked. Basically anyone that wasn't Comic Book Cast, because Comic Book Cast was like just absolute cringe. Even by like modern comic YouTube standards, where like every other comic book YouTube channel is cringe, Comic Book Cast was still cringe. But yeah, there were a lot of really good channels. I know Geekvolution still does stuff. I'm pretty sure Comic Uno still uploads videos, right? Yeah, Comic Uno still makes videos. Okay, cool. But yeah, no, it was like, oh, dude, fucking, all right. 123 Channel Haha. Wow, literally nothing on Google. Dude, I'm not crazy. This channel literally existed. What the fuck? No, they're gone. God damn it. Oh well. But I'm trying to think other YouTubers that I watched. I watched I watched the Real Manos. The Real Manos was the one that I watched a lot of. But he's part of like that Geekvolution circle. Linkara, I watched some of his videos, but like I stopped because he just had like the worst takes ever. But yeah, no, there were a lot of really good YouTubers in the golden age of comics, or comics YouTube. Do you agree that after the original writer walks away from their respective runs, the new writers are writing fan fiction? For literally anything outside of comics, yes. Anybody writing James Bond who is not Ian Fleming is writing fan fiction. However, anybody who's writing Batman, I don't count that as like fan fiction, because the point of superhero comics is that like you're playing a game of like telephone tag with like the next person. So I don't know. I don't see the fan fiction thing with comics, but I see it with like other things. Yeah. Uh, Trim says, how do you age or evolve teen heroes? Because killing them in events or erasing them from continuity is trying and repetitive at this point. Well, you either have them take on new mantles or just, you know, grow up and do other things. Like Wally West is the perfect example. He grew up and became the Flash. Dick Grayson at one point, under the Morrison and Quietly era, became Batman. Then you have other characters, like I'm trying to think now. Oh, you have Arsenal, who started off as Speedy, and then he became Arsenal, you know, and then he became Red Arrow after that. So yeah, and he has a interesting, pretty, pretty trying, level of progress, but you know he grew and evolved. Yeah, it can happen. You just have to like let it happen organically, and you got to stick with it. You can't just like freak out and yeah, never mind. I have to undo it. That's where you fuck up. Batman should have skills, basic level of a cop, and ranked as a detective at best. No, I think Batman should be a little more heightened than that. I feel like Batman should be Sherlock Holmes, in a bat suit. Just my opinion, anyways. Original characters or original creators, Batgirl, the Betty Kane version. So I imagine Silver Age fans and pop culture would rage at Batgirl for not being Barbara Gordon and Commissioner Gordon's daughter. I know it wouldn't make sense in continuity, but I like the idea of Batgirl starting off as Betty Kane, or I guess much rather Betty Kane being the first Batgirl. I mean, she kind of starts off as just a romantic foil for Robin, but she's still an integral part of the Batgirl mythos in that she is the first Batgirl. So I don't know why there's not enough. Like no one gives any love to Betty Kane. I feel like she's a very underrated character. Hunter Zolomon right? He feels tragedy and trauma makes heroes better and stronger. Is he right? I mean, kinda. Yeah, he makes them more interesting. I can definitely say that. A hot take. I never had a problem with the DCEU killing Dick Grayson because casual general public audiences only know Dick as Robin, so the DCEU basically is just an adaptation or an amalgamation of a composite character. That too. I didn't have a problem with it mainly because, according to Zack Snyder, the Bruce Wayne from the DCEU was like a loose amalgamation adaptation of the Michael Keaton and Val Kilmer and George Clooney Batman, and that Batman never had any other Robin outside of Dick Grayson. So just immediately starting with, well, the one Robin that I had died and now I'm all fucked up. I think that's a pretty that's a good place to start. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. Yeah. Remember Comic Book Club? Comic Book Club. Let me see. No, I don't. Oh. Yeah, no, I didn't know these guys. Were they cool? Oh, chills. Oh, that's sad. Um, Thoughts on Linkara's review for Secret Empire? I stopped watching Linkara long before Secret Empire even came out, so I have no idea. Um, on 80s superhero deconstruction, have you read Squadron Supreme by Mark Grimwald? No, but everyone says it's really good, so I'll have to check that out at some point. The only printing that I saw available was like a big ass omnibus, and you know how much I don't like reading in omnibus form. So so if I can avoid reading in an omnibus form, I'll do it. But if Marvel ever puts out a trade for the original Squadron Supreme stuff, I'll definitely check that out. Linkara and Movie Bob exposed classic fanboys of Golden, Silver, and Bronze Age, and hate anything from the modern ages. And their own publishings have been seen as the top cringe of literature. Oof. Yeah, I don't have anything against like Linkara, but fuck Movie Bob. just fuck Movie Bob. But Supreme Omega. I'm surprised Donna Troy never became Wonder Woman at any point. I am too. There was a point in time where James Robinson had Wonder Girl, or much rather, he had Donna Troy on the Justice League, but she wasn't Wonder Woman. And I don't know why. It's not like anyone else was doing anything with Wonder Woman at the time. I mean, J. Michael Straczynski was doing what he was doing with Wonder Woman over there, with like weird schizo Diana fighting herself in pants. Which either like real Diana was like in pants, but fake Diana was like classic Diana. I don't know. That Straczynski run was weird. Straczynski was doing a lot of weird stuff at DC in the late 2010s, or I guess the early 2010s. But like, yeah, man, that was that would have been the time to put Donna Troy in the Wonder Woman outfit, and DC just didn't let that happen for whatever reason. I don't know. I think it's high time for her to have that role, but whatever. Hey, what's up, Sharon? Hey, welcome. What's up? Didn't Gail Simone do that shit with Wonder Woman was a spy for Checkmate? What? I didn't. Okay. You're making me want to read the Gail Simone run on Wonder Woman, because that actually sounds pretty cool. But you're writing it in a way where you're making it sound bad. But it sounds like it could potentially be an interesting idea at the very least. See if there's like a Gail Simone Wonder Woman trade out. It's an omnibus. No. Why can't you guys just put out regular trades? Oh my god. Who buys Omnibuy? Except for like my one friend who is an omnibus collector, but beyond that, who buys Omnibuy? Oh, they are so gruesome to try to read from. Oh, okay. And it's a big ass omnibus too. Shit. Alright, well, I'm not getting that. I'll try to find a collection at some point. Um, she was there so people wouldn't think Robin is gay. Oh, Betty Kane, yeah. Um, I mean, it's a very shallow reason, but still, she's still important to the mythos of Batman and Robin. Um, it just sucks that she's just omitted completely. Um, 1610 says Zack Snyder and David Goyer was also influenced by the Superman and Batman script from the 2000s, where Dick Grayson, Alfred, and Commissioner Gordon are dead, and Barbara retired as Batgirl and is now the new commissioner. You know what? I do remember that. Some of that stuff did make its way into the Goyer script for BVS that the Argo writer sort of also wrote, Chris Terrio. So yeah, I definitely see that influence in there too. It's kind of like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. Like there's a lot of the James Cameron Spider-Man in that movie, even though it's very different from what I can imagine James Cameron would have done with that character. Scream says, as great as the 1980s are, I feel it's the original sin of a lot of bad comic book trends and cliches, such as events, resurrections, and marketing departments having more control. Yes, that is very true. I definitely agree with you on that. It's sort of that thing where for every positive effect, there's a negative trade-off. The marketing boys definitely having more wiggle room in the creative department of comics is, that's how we got Secret Wars, and Secret Wars was unfortunately a success, and now we have an event every year. But hey, it is what it is. Do you have a problem when Bruce refers to the Robins as soldiers? Yes, I don't like it. He does that in Dark Knight Returns as a way for Frank Miller to illustrate that Batman's fucking crazy in that book. So just having mainline Batman do the thing that Frank Miller illustrated as like a negative trait is a choice. It's a choice, and I don't like it. I feel like it misses the point of that book entirely. Superheroes been tropes since World War II. That's true. Modern ages, big capitalism vibes. Yeah. You can't rage against the machine without a machine. But yeah. Beyond that, I got nothing. I'm tapped. I'm wiped. Shit, we've been going for like 3 hours now. God damn. I haven't done a stream like that in a while. Well, thanks for showing up, guys. I have to go to work tomorrow. So, I will see y'all in the next one. Hopefully I have, like, this video done by then. If not, well then, you'll get it next week. Until then, see you later, guys. Adios.